So I've always prided myself on being a supreme optimist, and I feel like I looked at the list and I wanted to deliver a speech on glass half full or glass half empty, but there is a topic right there: thoughts on the presidential debate. I mean, how can you actually escape that? So I'd actually talk about it. So when you're coming to America, they tell you two things. When you go to America, don't talk about two things: religion and politics. That is the stupidest advice they could actually give you, because Americans just talk about religion and politics. Sometimes they take a break, to talk about football, but then that's it. Then they're back to talking about politics. Does anybody here know the number of people who actually watched this last debate? It was 80 million people. Just imagine the number of man hours lost. Probably, if you include the pre-debate analysis and post-debate analysis, there is actually hundreds of millions of man hours lost. And for what? Just to listen to Trump, spraying his bullshit all over us. So, yeah, it's ridiculous, right? When you think about it. So, I take great interest in politics and current affairs and what's going on all across the globe. So, I wasn't feeling very well that night, so I slept during the debate time, and when I woke up, I actually realized I'd made a cardinal sin. Because I got 10 text messages from different people: hey, you want to watch the debate together? And none of them was an American citizen. None of them was an American permanent resident, and most of them probably won't even stay here. That is how absurd it is, right? So I woke up, I saw a few snippets, here and there. So my best part was when Trump said, Hillary Clinton actually has a very bad temperament. I'm like, dude, you got some nerve saying that, right? So, yeah, I looked at the debate, and honestly, I get that election and this whole selection process is a very important part of the whole democratic process, and people should actually be engaged in that. But there comes a time when you start realizing that aren't people engaged too much in that? The presidential term is 4 years, right? So you elect a president, then he works in the office for 2 years, and then you start having these primaries. And then once you're done with the primaries, and then you have Democratic and Republican presidential nominees, and then you start preparing for the election, and then you start conducting all of these rallies, and then this process starts again. And then when it's done, you wait for a year and a half, and then the process starts again. And I'm not saying it's not important, but if you look at it, I remember I had a class at Scheller College of Business a few days ago. So I walked up the stairs and I looked at the television set there. So obviously, the main picture was it was Hillary Clinton, and something she said or something Trump said. But I was actually focusing more on the ticker that was going on the bottom of the screen, and I realized that hundreds of people had been killed in the past few days in Syria, because of certain attacks in Aleppo. And then there was some other very disturbing news from different parts of the world. It's so weird that Americans in general don't realize the power of their vote, America is the most powerful country in the history of mankind. Not just now, in the history of mankind. And when Americans make a choice, it affects other countries. It affects the world in general, because the world used to be bipolar prior to 1992 or 1990s. Now it's unipolar, and it sucks, but it is. And every time I have a discussion with any American, I always tell them, it's very important that you realize the worth of your vote. It's worth more than probably all the votes in most countries. So it's weird that Americans in general, and I say that with utter honesty, Americans are really capable people. It's just that they're not very well informed, probably because they don't read, or probably because the media just keeps showing them stuff that actually doesn't matter at all. It's so absurd. You keep hearing these quotes, nobody ever lost money underestimating the intelligence of American public. And I actually don't believe in that, but at the same time, the way media orients itself and the things that media shows and the things that it projects are really absurd. So I'd like to end with the note that I'm sure most of you here are probably American citizens or intend to stay here. Just focus on the news that actually matter. Focus on the news, so your because you can actually raise a voice. You know, it's a free country. You can organize protests. You can actually let your leaders know what are the things that actually matter to you. What are the things that can actually make a huge difference in the world. So just realize the worth of your vote. You know, just realize the power that you've been given. Thank you.